Hello, happy Thursday. Welcome to the Hospitality Hotline. I'm Catherine Sasser. Every Thursday at 10 o'clock, I'm here on Instagram Live answering your hospitality questions. And this week and next week, all the questions are about holiday hospitality, which, as you can imagine, is a great topic to talk about. Lots of things to address and discuss. Before I start, this is just going to be, I kind of want to do a little sharing, I guess, before I answer an official question. I posted an Insta story the day before yesterday, kind of painting a picture and asking what hospitality in December looks like for you, because a lot of us get wrapped up in this ideal of perfection that we're supposed to be doing, you know, a very long list of very involved things, and we're supposed to be doing all of them really well. And if we're not, then we're not really doing the holidays well, or somehow we're missing the mark. And I led by example and said, for me, for example, this is the busy season for me at work. Hurley House is humming, like it's like a little factory over here. It's very busy. My husband is traveling for work, so I am managing our children solo. It is also, as you know, if you have children, every single organization or fine arts thing that they do, band, choir, dance, everything has some sort of end of the year performance or event. So we've got that. Then on top of that, there's the holiday parties. So like we have stuff, multiple things every single night. And the question I asked was, during these seasons where everything is elevated and our limits are just obliterated and our cup is overflowing with what we have to do on top of the normal things like, you know, laundry and work and all the things, what does hospitality look like in December or busy seasons? And I said, for me, hospitality, which is the art of creating space for others and yourself so that change can occur, hospitality in December for me looks like going to bed early, because I can't do any of this if I'm not rested. It looks like, this is very tangible, very tangible. I bought a case of quart-sized water bottle in my favorite brand, and I keep them in the fridge because it's really easy for me to forget to drink water, and I feel better when I drink a ton of water. So currently, here at work, I have a case of water waiting for me just to grab. It's cold, it's in a quart bottle, so if I finish it, I know I'm knocking out some of my water, and that's one way that I am exercising hospitality on myself to just keep it going, to be the best that I can, to take care of everything on my plate. But it also means saying no to some things. And I loved the feedback I got from some of you. And I want to read some of the responses because I thought they were just so encouraging to me personally, and you might need to hear this. So some of the responses that I got were, hospitality in December looks like having people over but using paper plates. Love it. Hospitality in December looks like saying no to back-to-back evening events. That now, I have a band concert one night for one child, a choir concert the next night for another. I'm not going to choose a child, but for things that are maybe extra, saying no to back-to-back events. One person wrote in and said, it means saying no to going with my husband to his staff Christmas party so that I can stay home and make sure our kids have a normal bedtime routine, because this month is so crazy for everybody. I love that. It means making time to have lunch with a friend in the middle of a really busy day. It means leaning on my routines. It means focusing more on time together than on the ideal of something being perfect. So there's just this great response to what hospitality looks like in December, and I want to leave that with you and encourage you with that. So today we have 4 questions that we are going to walk quickly through, and they're really great, and it's not too late to submit a holiday hospitality question. Next week will be our last hotline of the year, so send those questions in. I'm excited to answer them. So here's question number 1 for today. What recipes are really worth it at the holidays? Is the prime rib or the rack of lamb or the beef tenderloin worth it for Christmas dinner? Such a great question. Right off the bat, I want to say that the iconic Christmas dinner is something that The traditions in my family, we've never had the big, elaborate Christmas Day dinner. Now, I know that for some people it's like Thanksgiving. It's a given. It's this big meal that centers around a really elaborate cut of meat and all the sides, and everybody gathers. That's not been the tradition of my family, but I'm familiar with the idea. And here's how I want to answer this question. I have cooked a whole beef tenderloin. I have cooked a rack of lamb. I have cooked prime rib. These are really expensive cuts of meat. And they're all very temperamental as far as there is a small window where they are perfectly done. These things are not worth it if you cannot execute them in a way that allows you to show up emotionally at the holiday table as a whole person. Here's the question you need to be asking yourself. If this thing that I want to cook fails, utterly fails, like the worst possible outcome, will I still be okay? And if the answer is no, skip it. Find something that you can do confidently, because what people want from you at a holiday meal is they want you. Let me tell you about my favorite Christmas dinner that we served. It was one year when I was particularly frazzled, just had nothing left. But we were having people over for Christmas dinner, and something needed to be made. I served poppy seed chicken and rice on my china, and it was wonderful because I was fully present, because it was so simple. And in fact, I bought it, but I got it from Hurley House and took it home. And I didn't even make it from scratch. I heated it in my oven and steamed some rice and served it on my Christmas china and called it Christmas dinner, and everybody was fine. Now, you have to decide what that is for you. If I wanted to cook filet of beef in my kitchen, I know that I could do that and still be comfortable hosting that, because I've cooked filet of beef a lot. I know how to do it. Christmas dinner is not the time to learn how to cook these really complicated cuts of meat. Christmas dinner is the time to do the thing that you could do in your sleep, whatever that is. So I really think that simple comfort type foods are what we want around the Christmas table. And so I would encourage you to find what that is, and keep in mind that big cuts of meat can be awesome. They can be a showstopper, but not at the expense of you showing up in a meaningful way around the holiday table. I tend to do this thing where I imagine how I think I'm gonna feel, either physically or emotionally or mentally, on Christmas Day, and then I make a plan around that, and it's based in this false reality. I want you to stop and remember how you actually feel on Christmas Day. Personally, Christmas Day feels like I crossed the finish line, I made it, we did it, it's in my rearview mirror, and now I want to take a nap more than anything in the world. What I don't want to do is an elaborate thing in the kitchen. But right now, today, I'm like, oh, we should do an elaborate thing in the kitchen. Wouldn't that be fun? And I'm like, nope, sister, stop. That's not how you feel on Christmas Day. On Christmas Day, you want to stay in your pajamas, and you want to be on the couch watching a movie, and you want the least amount of work. So have a realistic conversation with yourself about what you really want on Christmas Day. And if what you want on Christmas Day is to be in the kitchen cooking, then do it. Do it. Your reality and my reality can be different, but our approach can be the same. So have a realistic conversation with yourself, and keep in mind that you can have a fabulous Christmas dinner that does not center around something that's going to suck the life out of you. Alrighty. Question number 2 is about asking for support during a difficult emotional time around the holidays. This person said, I am going through a time of bereavement I am going through a time of bereavement during what for many is a happy and carefree time of year. I need to graciously turn down a few invitations and ask for prayers and support without snubbing the holiday spirit in others. I would love to be met by a heart of hospitality from others. Any thoughts? First of all, I want to say this to everyone listening, that the holidays are hard, and I think I've said this like 20 times. The holidays are hard for everyone. deep in the corner of everyone is something about the holidays that pricks hard things. We all have hurts, we have hang-ups, we have past experiences, we have unmet expectations, we have fears, desires, dreams, all this. We're all just sort of carrying this around. And so the holidays are hard even without the added layer of grief or bereavement or loss. And the holidays tend to amplify those feelings, particularly if this is the season where in the last year you have lost a loved one or something traumatic has happened. Like, the holidays bring that to the surface. You're doing the right thing by acknowledging that this is going to be hard for you. Good job on that. Asking for help from others emotionally during the holiday is a really wonderful way to approach this. What I want to say is, this question to me, I think the answer lies in knowing what I would kind of call the circle of relationships that you have. This kind of intimate ask for help. Hey, I'm really sad this year. I am really struggling with grief this year. And letting 1 to 3 people who know you, love you, have walked with you, saying that to them is good for your soul, because it brings it into the light, reminds you you're not alone, and it's realistic to expect that your inner circle of people who know you and love you, that you can lean on them emotionally. Now, be specific, because everybody's busy and having a hard time, and so sometimes it might look like saying, I am really sad this holiday season. I'm struggling with grief, and I was wondering if maybe once a week you and I could connect, and I just want you to check on me and ask me how I'm doing. And if I have a little bit of a meltdown, can I call you? Like, this is the kind of inner circle intimacy. It's the reason we have relationships with other people, so that when we're in need, we don't have to carry that alone. We lean on the strength and support of others. Outside of that, there are different levels of intimacy with the relationships we have with other people. And while a lot of people may know that you have suffered a loss in the past year, a lot of people probably don't care about that to the degree that your inner circle can care for you well in that. It's a little unrealistic to expect that your broader scope of friends are going to provide for you the emotional support that your tight inner circle can. So your desire to graciously turn down a few invitations and ask for prayers and support without snubbing the holiday spirit in others looks like, I love it. Set the limit. Maybe you don't want to go to holiday parties because it's a really hard environment for you to try and be happy when you don't feel happy. Then politely decline. But you don't have to politely decline and lead with the grief part. If they ask, then of course tell them, we're going to miss you. I'm so sorry. What do you have going on? You can share, this time of year is really hard for me. I'm really sad this year. That's a moment of vulnerability that will lead to hopefully connection. But you do not have to lead with that in just declining to attend a holiday event. You need to choose where you're asking for help and support, and just keep in mind that inner circle of people who can love you well, and then use discretion moving out. The other thing that I want to say is, you can't snub someone else's holiday spirit, nor can you control the way that they are going to respond to you. If their holiday spirit is snubbed because you are feeling sad this holiday, that's not for you to control. You are in control of your thoughts, your actions, your responses, not theirs. So take that pressure off of yourself and know that you can clearly communicate your emotional needs to people, but you're not in control of their holiday spirit. The other side of that coin is, I cannot promise you that the people you know and love are going to respond to you out of a heart of hospitality. I cannot promise that for you. We don't get to control the motives or the way that people enter into friendships or relationships with us, and it's what we all want. I want that for you. I want your close friends to respond out of a heart of hospitality toward you. But the hard truth is, I can't control that, and neither can you. The best we can do is show up in vulnerable, authentic ways inside appropriate relationships and ask specifically for what we need. I think that is your best bet. And it's okay to feel sad at the holidays. I don't hear you feeling bad about that, but in case you are, it's really okay to have a sad holiday if something sad has happened. I also want to encourage you, walking through something hard at the holidays equips you in a really specific way to share that with someone else at a later date. You are gaining a wealth of experience on what it feels like to walk through a loss during the holidays. And not this year, but in future years, you will have this trove of remembering what was important to you, or what felt good to you, or what you needed that other people didn't even know you needed. And you're going to be able to pour that out to other people who are in your shoes. It's a gift. It's not a gift any of us would sign up for. Suffering is not something I want to volunteer for. But the lessons we learn in suffering equip us to serve others well. And I just want to plant that seed in your heart to take notes on what's important to you during this time, and just know that at some point that's going to be a gift to someone else. I really hope this holiday, I don't know, I hope it's healing for you. Grief can be very healing. Okay, the next question is more of an idea, less of a formal question, but basically it's the idea of how do we hold loosely to traditions? How do we even start traditions in the first place? What are good traditions? What are not good traditions? Let's talk about traditions. Traditions are rituals that get repeated over time. That's it. It's you do something once, then you do it again, it becomes a ritual. You repeat this ritual over time. Now we've got a tradition, particularly if it gets passed down to the next generation, it's officially a tradition. They're beautiful. Traditions they can be the best. They're the things you remember from growing up. They're the things memories are made around traditions. Don't hear me knocking traditions. I love traditions. What I will say is I think it's important to be really careful about the traditions that you choose to start. Now, some of these we don't get to choose. We were either married into them or we were born into them and they have a life of their own. But when we become adults, one of the perks of being an adult is we get to choose some of the traditions that we start, either with ourselves, with our partner, with our family, with our children. And my advice to you is be careful and intentional about the traditions that you start. And here's why. Kind of like what we were talking about, the way you picture yourself feeling on Christmas Day versus the way you actually feel on Christmas Day. View traditions through the lens of intentionality and having some sort of stated goal or purpose for why you want this tradition. Doing something just to do it is going to be very exhausting because, as we've talked about, this time of year, everybody has 20 things extra that they're doing. So think about, number one, why is this tradition important to me? Am I doing it just to do it? And then keep in mind, if you want to create a tradition, you're going to have to keep doing it. You're going to have to be consistent. Traditions are there to serve us. We, ideally, should not be serving a tradition. The second that you find yourself in service to a tradition and you're just doing a thing because, well, we do the thing and that's just going to suck the life right out of you. You're not going to want to do it anymore. It's not going to be meaningful. You might even start to resent it. And here's an example. And then this is not a judgment example. I'm just using this because it's easy. But let's talk about Elf on the Shelf. It's fun. It's funny. Our family did it. We started it with our children. Elf on the Shelf is a tradition. Elf on the Shelf is a ton of work that you have to be consistent with every single night for the better part of a month if you're going to do this with your children, and then you do it every year. And if it's the kind of thing where your value is, I want to implant this in the memory of my children and our family, I want to connect with my partner and have a contest about all the funny ways we can move this elf every night, I want this to be a creative expression of how much I love my children, and I just want to do it because I think it would be fantastic, a fantastic component of their holiday childhood, have at it. I wish that we had reconsidered why we were doing Elf on the Shelf, because 17 years into this, maybe less, maybe 15, I can't remember what year we started it. Elf on the Shelf became like a ton of bricks that we carried around for the month of December. And if you've done it, then you know it. The first few years were really fun, and then it became less fun, and then it became like, you do it, no, you do it, no, you do it, no, you do it. And this year, we declared to our children, this is so great, we declared to our children that, you know what, maybe this is the year we're done with Elf on the Shelf. And our youngest, who is in 4th grade, was like, no, we have to do it. And then we decided to compromise, and they asked, well, can we just put our elf out literally on the shelf as decoration, just so he's sitting there because we like him? We were like, sure, just take him out of the box, put him on the shelf, but we're not doing Elf on the Shelf. Let me tell you what started happening. Every morning, I'm not even kidding, I come out of my bedroom, someone has moved the elf. The elf has moved. It's in a different position. I don't even know who's doing it every time. But now, this silly little tradition has taken on a life of its own, whereas I think my kids are getting out of bed and moving the elf. Because my husband's out of town and I'm not moving it, and I keep finding it different places. And my whole point in sharing this is, be careful about the traditions you choose, because the second that you start serving the tradition, it's kind of defeating the point of a tradition in the beginning. So when my kids were little, things like matching Christmas pajamas felt really important, but now that they're older, it's less important. The things that are important are these ornaments that we give each other every year, the ritual that we have on Christmas morning. They still kind of all camp out in one bedroom together. Seeing particular family friends over the holiday is a really important tradition to us, and those all serve a really specific purpose, and I'm thankful for them. It's obvious over time the things that no longer serve a greater purpose that we kind of start to walk away with, and that's how you know what traditions are worth holding on to and which ones are worth kind of maybe letting go. So if you're on the front end of this and you're getting to choose the traditions that you want to put as part of your family, be careful, be intentional, have a purpose. And if you're in the middle of it, kind of like I am, and something starts to feel like more of a burden than something that's giving life to your family at the holidays, it's okay to let it go. The tradition is supposed to serve you. You're not supposed to serve the tradition. So let it go. You never know. You might wake up and discover your children have taken over the elf, and you're glad you did it anyway. So those are my thoughts on traditions. The last topic that we're going to talk about is gifting. One question I got is tips on how to find the perfect gift. We could one sentence answer this and say, there is not a perfect gift. And the idea that you are going to find the perfect gift and solve all the world's relational problems with one gift, we just need to let go of that. Here's what I want to encourage you in the gift giving department. I love gifts. I'm speaking from the standpoint of gifts being my primary, number one, no second place, number one love language. Wrap something up and give it to me and I'm yours forever. Like, I love getting gifts. I love giving gifts. I love thinking of gifts. I just love it. Gifts are my thing. That being said, gifts are a token. A token. They are a tangible way to say to someone else, I love you. I thought of you. Merry Christmas. Happy birthday. Happy Mother's Day. Happy whatever it is. It is a token. A token bears no weight of solving relational problems. A token is not going to make someone like you. A token is not going to make someone forgive you. A token is not going to make you measure up to someone else's standards. It's a token. It's a little like, here you go. It's enough. The fact that you put thought into it, the fact that you wrapped it, it's a token. So let's all just release the expectation that we can, with a gift, bridge some huge gap or measure up or check the box or be good enough or do it right. Maybe it's good enough, maybe it's not. That's not the point of a gift. It's a token. So with this renewed perspective that gifts are tokens and they are simple, tangible ways for us to express to someone else that we love them, we thought of them, and we thought they might enjoy this tangible object, how do we go about gifting well? I have a few thoughts, and this is from learning by doing. It's one of my life mantras lately, learn by doing. The way to be a thoughtful gift giver is to have a thoughtful relationship with someone else. I have a note on my phone that's password protected that has every person's name in it for whom I usually give a Christmas gift to. Throughout the year, if I see something interesting, if I hear about a product, if I hear about a book on a topic they might like, if I see something that is particularly their style, if I see something interesting that I think they might like, I write it down in the notes. And if I were really on it, I would buy it and like wrap it, but I'm not there yet. But that's a life goal too, is to start buying all year round. But I do put it in the notes. And so I have, that book I heard about on NPR for him. And this little travel accessory. My husband travels a lot. I heard him say the other day that he really likes this filmmaker, so this new movie came, like you're constantly just sort of like looking for little things. You're listening. And the way you know how to purchase gifts for people that you love is by being around them. Ask questions, see what they like, listen to what they talk about, watch how they spend their time, because what happens for most of us is we get to this point in December and we're like, what do you want to get so-and-so? I don't know. What do you want to get her? I don't know. Maybe this pencil. Like we start to just sort of retrofit gifts into the person instead of like having a plan and knowing based on our relationship with them. The hardest gifts to buy are for the people that we really don't have a relationship with, right? I mean, the easy gifts for me, the easy gifts to buy are the people that I have a great relationship with because I know them. I'm like, oh my gosh, she would love this. Oh, this is perfect for him. It's effortless. Those kinds of gifts are effortless. It's the people that we don't have really great relationships with that are harder to buy for. But it's a little bit too late to start the phone note thing now, but if you start it now, this time next year, you might have more ideas. Also, keep in mind that one of the ways that you can, I hear a lot of people like, I don't know what to get this person. They have everything, or I don't have any ideas. Consumables. Pick something consumable, because for the person that has everything or that has the ability to buy whatever they need, it can feel a little trite to get them another thing that they could very easily buy themselves. And to be honest, they could probably buy a nicer version of it for themselves. So like, what am I even doing? And a little bit of that, I need to say, like, gifts are tokens. Remember, we're not going to solve the world's problems with a gift, but consumables are just a great way to gift for people that are difficult or that have everything or that you don't know very well. Let me give you an example from my personal life regarding my husband. My husband is a whiskey aficionado, like huge collection of whiskey. He is constantly like trying them, learning them, researching them, all these things. And a couple years ago, there was one bottle in particular that he loved that was very affordable and very drinkable. And I liked it too, I like whiskey, but not to the extent. And this was basically like a cocktail that you could pour straight from the bottle into a glass. We gave that to so many people, and it was such an easy, hey, I loved this year and I wanted to share it with you. So maybe you're a reader, or maybe you are I don't know, I should have thought of better examples, a candle person or something. Like maybe there's something that you're really passionate about, and there's one brand or one book or one something from the past year that you want to share with other people because you loved it and you thought they might too. That's a great gift. If you don't know what to give someone, think back on the last year. What was something you really enjoyed? Pass that along with that sentiment. Hey, I discovered this year. I thought you might really like it. I did this. There was a lip balm that I loved that I discovered about a year ago. And it's been like the gift that I've given a lot of friends. It's just a little $20 gift. And it's hey, I loved this. I thought you might too. That in that vein, that's a great way to approach gifting for people who you may not know what to get. So consumable, and ideally consumable that's something you loved. I hope that is practical help. I hope we all can remember that gifts are tokens and not meant to solve the world's problems. Okay, that is it for the hotline this week. Next week will be our last one for the year. So send your last questions my way. I look forward to answering them. And I hope the rest of this holiday week for you is a happy one.
Save.